engines free across the land. Sancho grips the metal band. Wheels spinning, skies ablaze, chasing dreams through fire.
Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be having a look at this Yamaha's Mt09 2024-25 model. But instead of being your standard Mt09, this is a model they launched towards the tail end of last year. It's Yamaha's take on the semi-automatic gearbox, the Mt09 Y-Amt. And I don't know if you remember last time, my last video I tested the Honda CB650R E-clutch. Well, this is Yamaha's version, and by God, is it good. Let's have a closer look. The Mt09, it's been using, well, the same engine, and I must be honest, is one of my favourite engines ever produced now, the famous CP3 Yamaha triple engine, 890cc, call it 900, of absolute beautiful, wavy, smooth torque. This little beauty will propel you to somewhere around about 140 mile an hour top end, with an 0 to 60 of around about 3.1 seconds if you play your cards right. Power is around about 117.5 brake horsepower. If you come and have a closer look at the engine here, on both sides you'll see plastic covers just here. Nothing unfamiliar or strange about that, you might think, just a typical Japanese engine. But when you take a look at the left handlebar here and down the left hand side of the engine, you will notice there are two things very, very missing. First thing, clutch lever. Second thing, gear lever. It's a strange feeling, but by God, it does feel right, and we'll go into a bit more detail about that soon. The beauty of this is, if I just dig out my pocket here, there's no key. You get this rather snazzy little proximity key, you just keep on you. No ignition key per se, just turn the bike on, and you see the screen fire up. As you can see here, you've got your standard about 5-inch TFT dash, full colour. You can flick your way through different modes. You've got your cruise control, you've got various different engine modes you can go through, and I'll show you that. You've got your, let me just go from here first. First off, you've got your automatic mode. You see the D up there? That's just standard automatic. It does absolutely everything for you. It's absolutely lovely around town, and we'll talk about that a bit more later. Flick mode, you've got D+. This is automatic, but a little bit more pep in this step. In effect, what it will do is hold on to the revs a bit longer, change gear a little bit later, and give you a bit more of a sporty ride. However, my favourite mode is when you go into manual automatic, or MT. Okay, you've got 3 different modes within here. You've got Sport, you've got Custom 1, Custom 2, where you can change your settings, Rain, which to be honest, who wants that really, but it's there, and Street, which is slightly dulled down version of Sport, but still good fun. Now, set it in Sport, you're in neutral, pull the front brake in, hit the starter, away you go. But to change the gear, this is the fun part, it's like playing on a PlayStation. But over on the left hand handlebar around here, you just see quite a nice little ergonomic trigger here. It kind of reminds me a bit of a mountain bike gear shifter in a way. You flick one way for up, one way for down, and it's actually quite engaging when you get riding. At first, I wasn't too sure whether I was going to like it, but as I started playing a bit and I started getting the swing of not switching my foot, not ghost shifting, not reaching for the clutch, and really getting the zone, and start actually playing with the gears, and actually playing with the clutch. So, let's get back out onto the bike, let's see how it performs. The Yamaha Mt09 Y-Amt is one of those moments in motorcycle development that makes you look twice. Not because it's weird, although it is a bit. Not because it's groundbreaking, though it kind of is. But because Yamaha has handed us a quick shifter with a master's degree and said, here, let it ride for you. It's called Y-Amt. That means Yamaha Automated Manual Transmission. And yes, it's real. A semi-automatic gearbox that replaces your clutch and gear lever with buttons. Yeah, buttons. On a naked hooligan bike that still proudly shows off its triple-cylinder lungs like a bodybuilder at the seafront. And you know what? It's bloody brilliant. I spent a fortnight living with the Mt09 and I came away suitably impressed. Before we get into the ride, let's poke around the numbers. Yamaha hasn't just shoehorned some gearbox gubbins into an old Mt09. This is what you call a proper revamp. The bike was launched towards the end of 2024 as a 25 model. The engine is the 890cc cross-plane inline triple, same as in the R9, the XSR 900 and the 900 GP, and the Tracer. Delivering about 117.5 brake horsepower at 10,000 RPM and 68.6 pound-foot of torque at 7,000 RPM, the soundtrack is still intoxicating. Of course, it's Euro 5 Plus compliant, but it still sounds naughty. Performance-wise, the Yamaha will propel you to around 140 miles an hour and you'll see 60 mile an hour in about 3.1 seconds. The wave of torque does actually make it feel quicker. I reckon it'll out-drag most things on four wheels from the lights in Reigate before we've even realised the lights are changed. It's not just fast, it's clever fast. The lack of a clutch means no lag, no fluff, no missed shifts, just grip, button and grin. Speaking of which, how does a Y-Amt system work? I'm glad you asked. The clever system uses a dual motor unit controlling the clutch and gear selection. You've got auto, D and D plus modes, or manual, sport, street, rain or two custom options, using the left hand trigger buttons to flick through the box. Think paddle shift but for knee sliders. More on this later. It's the heart of the machine. The frame is a die-cast aluminium delta box frame. Lighter, stiffer and sharper. Bouncy bits are taken care of by KYB front and rear, both adjustable for preload, compression and rebound. Not Ohlins, but no slouch either. The 41mm upside down forks feel planted. The swing arm is longer for improved stability under hard acceleration, which is helpful when the gearbox can shift faster than your brain. Top marks go to the brakes. Brembo radial master cylinder, dual 298mm discs and 4 piston calipers up front and a single disc with a single piston setup with a 245mm disc at the rear. Stock rubber is Bridgestone S23 Hypersport. Sticky enough for Surrey and Sussex twisties, but forgiving enough for wet A23 sadness. The spoked alloy wheels, lighter than before, and offer more feedback through the bars. They look good too. The electronics is where it all gets a bit geeky, offering 6-axis IMU, lean-sensitive traction control, cornering ABS, wheelie control, slide control, cruise control, launch control, customisable ride modes, all viewable on the 5-inch TFT dash with smartphone connectivity. Yamaha's app lets you fiddle with the ride modes, track your trip or presumably share passive-aggressive commuting stats with your mates. The bike boasts a new LED headlight with a proper projector beam. It no longer looks like a startled anime character. Minimalist tail, clean indicators and still unmistakably MT. It might be a little Marmite for some, but the lights are good. Now for the best bit, riding. The morning commute, that perfect mix of Hades, queuing Audis and traffic lights. I started the day out in Hales Heath with the Mt09 blinking awake like an Autobot. No clutch lever, no gear pedal, just thumb and trigger fingers. My left hand felt unemployed. My left foot sulked for the first 2 miles, although it knew what was coming after riding the MT back from the Yamaha UK head office in Woking. But then, bliss. Filtering through traffic was effortless. Auto mode handled low speed chuntering with ease, slipping the clutch perfectly, never lurching, never hesitating. Crawling past queuing vans, I barely noticed I was changing gear at all. Coming into Reigate, with its school-run stress and 20-mile-an-hour zones, the Mt09 was smooth, calm and, dare I say it, relaxing. It's like Yamaha built a hooligan that can do yoga. The KYB suspension soaks up all potholes like a biscuit in tea. The bar's wide enough to muscle through any gap, and the riding position perfectly neutral for both town and twisties. My knees weren't screaming either, and my back wasn't plotting revenge. This is a naked bike you could commute on a daily and still enjoy weekends. And speaking of weekends, with the drudgery of a working week done, I let the Mt09 off its leash. Heading out into the country lanes of Surrey and Sussex, the roads opened up like a gift-wrapped invitation to be naughty. Hitting Ditchling Beacon, that glorious climb through tree-shadowed bends, and snapped the Yamaha into manual mode. Click, second gear via the pedal. Click, third. And here's the thing, it's addictive. No clutch, no toe, just button flicking nirvana. The upshifts are razor sharp, clean and instantaneous, quicker than any human could manage with a boot and a lever. Downshifts? Yeah, crisp, auto blips and perfectly rev matched. It's a peculiar joy of this system. It's like playing a video game, but still engaging. The paddles sit perfectly under your left forefinger and thumb. Intuitive, solid feeling and surprisingly satisfying to use. They're kind of like a mountain bike gear changer in a way, that trigger kind of lever. Heading back into villages and towns, I switched back into auto mode to let the bike handle the speed limits, and it didn't miss a beat. Upshifting early to save fuel, downshifting proactively when approaching roundabouts. Yamaha's logic here is stunning. Auto mode isn't lazy at all. It feels like riding with a very calm pillion who knows how to shift gears better than you do. Now, auto is fine around town, but get it out of town and become a bit more frisky and it can start shifting down mid-corners sometimes, which can be a bit disconcerting when banked over. Fully fuelled, the Mt09 Y-Amt weighs in at 196 kilograms wet. I have to say it does actually feel lighter and it carries its weight low down, which certainly helps that feeling of flickability. The Y-Amt only adds just under 3 kilograms over the standard weight of a standard bike. Fuel economy wise, the 14 litre tank gives you a realistic range of about 150 miles before the fuel light starts glaring at you. That's perfect for a morning blast from Hayward Heath to Devil's Dyke, up to Guildford for a smug coffee, and then home via Dorking and Cowfold. With enough fuel left to get you to a petrol station that still sells V-Power on a double-decker. In real world, you'll see around about 50 to 55 miles to the gallon. Ride it like a saint and you might nudge 60. Ride it with a bit more gusto and well, petrol is cheaper than therapy, isn't it? It is shockingly frugal though for a bike with hooligan tendencies. I scrolled through the custom ride modes on the app. You can set throttle response, traction control, engine braking and suspension feel to your liking. This is the future, and apparently it has knee sliders. Now, let's get tactile for a moment, because the Mt09 Y-Amt feels well built. The switchgear is chunky, clearly labelled and satisfyingly clicky. The paddles themselves, they're firm, they're tactile and idiot-proof, which is useful when you're mashing them with gloved thumbs mid-corner on a damp B-road. Nothing here rattles, squeaks or looks like it came from a 2007 cordless drill. Paint and plastics? Solid. No brittle bits or panel gaps wide enough to park a Vespa in. Even the TFT dash, which has caught some flack in the past, looks sharper and more premium than the outgoing version. The menus are logical-ish, and pairing your phone via Yamaha's app doesn't require a degree in computing. Right, now, confession time. I hadn't planned on rain, but the clouds had other ideas, and just north of Handcross, the heavens opened like a burst radiator. I was about to find out whether the Mt09 was clever or just cocky. Cruising the A23 in auto mode, the rain mode kicked in like a stern parent. Power delivery softened, traction control firmed up, and Bridgestone's S23s clung to the wet tarmac like cats to a bathtub edge. The ride never felt sketchy at all. The electronics were transparent, stepping in quietly and decisively, but never intrusively. Even in a downpour, overtaking a dawdling hatchback was easy as a tap of a paddle and a snarl from a triple. The MT surged forward like a wet dog off a lead, tail wagging but never slipping. I laughed in my helmet, which probably looked weird to the driver I passed. Heading back up the M23 towards Gatwick, I gave cruise control a go. Set it, forget it. The bike held 70 miles an hour with zero drama. The engine spins happily at just over 5,000 RPM in 6th, and wind blast is surprisingly manageable for a naked. But here's the paradox. You don't miss the clutch lever or the gear lever, you just notice that you're not distracted by them. It's weirdly freeing. Your hands do less, your brain can do more. You start noticing road texture, precise angle of your line for a bend, or just how glorious that triple soundtrack is, even muffled by a helmet and the rain. The 2025 Mt09 Y-Amt comes in at around about 10,900 on the road in the UK. That's about £1,000 more than the standard Mt09. That's not pocket change, but considering what you're getting with a semi-automatic gearbox, full IMU based electronic suite, adjustable suspension, top tier brakes, TFT dash, cruise control, and 117 brake horsepower triple that could make an archbishop swear, it suddenly looks like phenomenal value. Warranty? Well, that's 2 years standard. It's not class leading, but Yamahas are known for reliability. This isn't some fragile tech test bed. It's a well-engineered production unit that's built to last. So, I liked the bike. I really, really did. I wanted to be cynical. I wanted to mock the buttons, sneer at the lack of a clutch, and write a moody paragraph about how real riders change gear with their left foot and don't rely on microchips. But I can't, because the Mt09 Y-Amt is too damn good. It's fast, it's friendly, and it's fun and completely future-proof. It's a weapon on country roads, a doddle in town, and surprisingly comfortable on long distance. The Y-Amt gearbox works so seamlessly that you stop thinking about it, and then you wonder why every other bike still makes you do the work. It's not for everyone. If you want analog purity and the thrill of hill towing through the Alps, then buy something else. But if you want the cutting edge of rideability, wrapped in a hilariously fun naked bike that'll embarrass a lot of supersports on the right road, this is it. The Mt09 Y-Amt isn't just a motorcycle, it's a statement that tech doesn't have to ruin the soul of riding, it can actually enhance it. So thinking about rivals, I know I've recently reviewed it, but Honda's CB650R E-Clutch is the obvious competitor. It's smooth, it's refined and cleverly executed. Honda's semi-automatic clutch feels natural in traffic and has that Honda polish. The CB is down on power, 93 brake horsepower versus Yamaha's 117. And while the Honda is silkier, it lacks yet the Yamaha's sheer character. The Mt09 shouts, growls and fizzes where the Honda hums. If you want precision and calm, then buy the Honda. If you want sportiness and mischief, then it's the Yamaha every time. So, I suppose, final verdict. If Yamaha had put this bike out 5 years ago, the world would have called them mad. But in 2025, this is exactly what motorcycling needs. Fun, flair, and a gearbox that might just be smarter than you. Buy it, ride it, and don't look for the gear lever. It's not there. You won't miss it. So, all in all, I suppose if I'm going to give it a rating out of 10, I'm going to give the Mt09 Y-Amt, that's a bit of a mouthful really, isn't it? I'm going to give it 9.5 out of 10. It's a bloody great bike, and, you know, I was sceptical at first, but by the time I dialed myself in and worked out the foibles of it and the little bits and pieces of faults, once I worked that out and I worked around it, I really, really enjoyed the bike, and I really didn't want to give it back. I think that would be an absolutely fantastic bit of kit to use in any bike now, and it's a bit like playing on the PlayStation, if that makes sense, clicking to change gear. And it does, believe me, feel more natural the more you use it. You can hold on to the gears, you can still change up and down in a normal way you might with your normal gearbox. You're just using your fingers instead of your toes. Give it a go.